The Republic of Moldova, often called Moldova in common parlance, is one of the poorest countries in Europe. It is nestled between Romania and Ukraine and is frequently in the news, especially due to the Transnistrian conflict and now the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Its history is characterized by the ongoing conflict of its surrounding countries, which is why in today's video we take a look at how the country's history developed and how it was finally able to achieve independence. The Principality of Moldova was founded in 1349. In the centuries that followed, however, it was repeatedly besieged by the Ottoman Empire, which eventually defeated and incorporated it. It was only after several Russian-Turkish wars that the country was detached from the Ottoman Empire and finally integrated into the Russian Empire in 1812. The region was given the name Bessarabia. The name goes back to the princely family of Basarab, who ruled there in the 13th and 14th centuries. It was not until 1917, when the October Revolution took place in Russia, that the Democratic Republic of Moldova was proclaimed. Initially, however, it continued to exist as a constituent republic within Russia, but this soon changed. In 1918, Romania seized the opportunity and invaded the country. Russia, which was too distracted by the internal unrest, was unable to oppose the invasion and the entire territory was eventually incorporated into Romania. The parliament in Moldova also agreed to this, albeit under great pressure from Romania. Even though the Soviet Union never accepted the cession of the province, the unification with Romania was officially recognized by the League of Nations. However, Russia wanted to reconquer Moldova as quickly as possible and finally saw the right moment in the Second World War. In the secret additional protocol of the Hitler-Stalin Pact, the annexation was determined with the approval of the Germans, and so it happened. The territory was occupied in June 1940 and the Moldavian Soviet Socialist Republic, MSSR, was proclaimed. Moldova remained part of the Soviet Union until its collapse, and it was not until 1991 that the independent Republic of Moldova was finally proclaimed. However, the newly independent country was plagued by numerous problems from the outset. The biggest problem was the lack of national cohesion and separatist tendencies in several parts of the country. The most well-known conflict was the Transnistrian conflict, which I have already made a video about. This region is still occupied by Russian troops today and its affiliation is still not clear. But there were also many economic problems. The transition from a planned economy to a market economy was very slow and an economic downturn set in after independence, which also led to a sharp rise in unemployment throughout the country. The country repeatedly wavered in its foreign policy orientation between the European Union and the Russian-led Eurasian Economic Union. In the meantime, however, the course has shifted strongly towards the EU. The pro-European politician Maya Sandu took office in 2020 and a dispute with Russia broke out in 2021 when a gas supply contract with Gazprom expired. Moldova was unable to pay the exorbitant gas price that was now being demanded and a state of emergency had to be declared. The dispute was later resolved, but in combination with Russia's invasion of neighboring Ukraine, the president is calling for greater integration into the European community of states. Since the invasion, Moldova, as a direct neighbor of Ukraine, has also been particularly affected by refugee flows. In relation to its population, the country even has the highest number of refugees. However, fears of a resurgence of the Transnistrian conflict or even a full-scale invasion by Russia are also causing a great deal of unrest in the small country. This is one of the reasons why Moldova submitted an official application to join the European Union on March 3 of this year. The country is now also receiving significantly more help from Europe to cope with the influx of refugees, but also to strengthen the country's economy. In April, Federal Foreign Minister Barbak visited the country on behalf of 45 other states and organizations and assured them that Moldova was not alone. In addition to emergency aid, loans were also granted to the country in order to stabilize it economically and politically.